Hey everyone, so this is actually going to be weigh-in for weeks 10 and weeks 11. So give it a second and watch both and see what happens. So thank you for joining me on my weight loss journey to lose 64 pounds. I want to explain my exact details of what I'm doing. If you watched my first video, that was weeks 1 through 9, I mentioned that I'm doing intermittent fasting and I'm trying to keep a low carb diet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you more in detail of exactly what I'm doing. So for the intermittent fasting, 6 days a week, I'm trying to eat 2 meals, and my goal is to do 16-8, which if you're new to intermittent fasting, that means that I have an 8-hour window of the day that I actually fast, and there's 16 hours. Excuse me. I said it backwards. There's an 8-hour window that I eat and a 16-hour window that I fast. So for me, it actually works out better to skip dinner. So I actually have, breakfast in the morning, and then I have my lunch and I finish by noon. So then I start my fasting at noon and go until the next morning. Now for the low carb, that's going to be variable per person, but for me, what I found that works really well is to try to keep below 100 carbs a day. Oh, by the way, for the intermittent fasting, I'm using the Fastic app, F-A-S-T-I-C, and I really like that app because it's very user-friendly. Like if I forget to start the fasting, like I started 45 minutes ago, but I didn't hit the button to start it, it's real easy to go in there and change the start time. If I find out that it's just going to be a hard day and I'm not going to be able to do 16, I can only do 14, I can reset, the goal for the day very easily, or I can, up the goal up to 23, if I know that I'm going to skip the extra meal and only have 1 meal for the day. So it's just really easy to use, and it even has information about fasting. When you first start, there's a lot of general information that's very good to follow along with, like I said, if you're new to fasting. And it gives you the times, when you hit the start button, it says, okay, this is what's going on with your body at this time, this is what's going on, once you hit the different levels, it tells you some really good information, so you kind of know what's happening to your body during the fasting periods. And I think that's really cool. Okay, so on with the low carb. There's lots of programs out there that count calories. But all of the programs, if you really want to count carbs, you have to join the premium program. And I looked at the cost of all the different programs, and I ended up choosing the Lose It, L-O-S-E-I-T, app for counting my carbs. I did, like I say, join the premium program, but it's much cheaper than any of the other programs that I saw, and it's still very easy to use. It works the same as all the other ones that I use, because I have used a couple of them. But looking at the premium, it was less than half of the cost of the other ones that I looked at for using the premium service. Because once I paid for the premium service, I was able to switch it. So instead of having calories for the day right at the top of the app, it actually shows my carbs for the day on one side of the app, and then on the other side it actually shows how many carbs I have left for the day. And since I only eat 2 meals a day, I was even able to take out dinner, because it asked me, tell us what you had for breakfast, tell us what you had for lunch. But because I'm not eating dinner, I was able to just delete that part of the app. So it's very user-friendly as well as being a lot cheaper than the other ones. So that has worked out incredibly well for me. I will say also, though, that with a lot of the stuff that I read, one of the things that has helped me keep going and keep going well is the fact that I'm being very lenient with myself. When I say I'm shooting for 100 carbs a day, if I hit 105 or even 120, I don't freak out. I don't sit there and go, oh my God, I'm at 95. I just absolutely can't have anything else, or I can't have that whatever, that's there to eat. So I'm trying to keep under 100, but I am being a little lenient with myself, that it's not a hard and fast rule, that I can't bend that just a little. And I gotta say, those, that has helped me stick with it, as long as, obviously, it's still been very successful. My breakfast, even with cream in my coffee, and I usually my breakfast ends up only being like 25 carbs, maybe 35 at the most. So I know I have 65 to 75 carbs for lunch. I've been surprised that there are a lot of foods that you can have, It's really cool, the fact that, since I'm sticking to the low carb and I'm completely ignoring calories, that when I mentioned in my first video that I'm not hungry because I eat. I'll look at what's on the plate, I just limit the carbohydrate part, but that doesn't limit what I'm eating. So between the protein and the fats, I easily fill myself up. So now when it comes to exercise, when I first started, all I was really doing was walking, which I have found out, though, that has worked really well for me. I am a disabled veteran. One of my problems, besides my knees not being that good and my lower back not being that good, is I've still got my left leg is still recovering from surgery from 5 years ago. So I don't walk very well. So what I do is, at work, since I don't eat in the evening, I go for a 20-minute walk during my dinner break. And since I'm currently working 6 days a week, I end up walking 6 days a week. It wears me out really bad, but I don't push it to where it's like a really fast walk. But basically, it's just to get myself moving. And that really was all I was doing for exercise when I first started. But I'll tell you some neat things that I'd watched some videos and people were talking about health for people who are a little older. And one of the things that really stuck with me is someone said, get your body moving and lift heavy shit. Since exercise wasn't ever the focus on anything that actually was successful for me, I did realize, though, that of course, I don't want my body to completely atrophy. I'm 55 years old now, and I know that I have lost a lot of muscle over the last 10 years. So that idea of lift heavy shit, but give yourself plenty of time to recover. I had set a goal in my head, do resistance training just twice a week is what I wanted to do. For the first several weeks, I was just walking. And then even when I tried to do my quote-unquote lift heavy shit, I only got it once a week for the first, 3-4 weeks. So I did eventually, though, get to where most weeks now I try to do my resistance training twice a week. And I got to tell you, I still really don't do much of it. I've only been doing one round of, I kind of do what I consider a push-pull workout, to where I, do something push with the legs, like I'll do squats, with weights. And then I do push-ups, and then, do some type of rowing. And then I want to be able to do chin-ups, but I can't at all. So sometimes I try to do negative chin-ups, so I just use a chair to get to the top of the bar and then lower myself down. But I gotta tell you, at this weight and at this strength, that's even hard to do. I try to do the exercises as slow as possible, and I just do them for a minute. I try to do the heaviest weight I can so that I can barely finish in the minute. So that's my idea of lifting heavy shit. So that's really what I've been doing, like I said. So I'm doing the 68 for the intermittent fasting. I'm keeping my carbs below, mostly below 100. Now I am up to I do walk, like I said, 22 minutes, 20 minutes, somewhere between there, a day, 6 days a week. I actually have been the last, 4 weeks, at least, doing my, lifting or resistance training twice a week. Not really thinking that that's helping with the weight loss as much, although, like I said, I know that that's just important for overall health and making sure that my muscles don't atrophy. So that's really it. Like I said, it's been very successful for me. Oh, the one thing I do need to admit to is those things are 6 days a week. Saturday is my eating day. I decided I can eat whatever I want on Saturday. I have started limiting myself just a little bit of, I'm finally giving up ice cream because I've just noticed that it has really made me feel horrible. And I gave up popcorn because, man, it's crazy how it really affects my head after a while. I guess, like I said, I mentioned before that it's kind of like now that I've cleaned up my body a little bit, some things affect me even more than they used to. You know, I don't count carbs at all on Saturday, and instead of trying for the 16-8 fasting, I just try to finish eating by 8 p.m. so that I can eat the next morning at 8 a.m. So I just basically do a 12-hour fast from Saturday night to Sunday morning. That has been, you know, what I've been doing. That has been my protocol for these, you know, first 10 weeks. There is something in my last video I talked about what autophagy is. It's your body cleaning aged or broken or malformed proteins in your body, melting them away and either using them for fuel or using them to rebuild better proteins. And I realized that that is something that, well, I'm just thinking that at 55, I really need that. This week was a lot different. I decided that I was going to do a 36-hour fast, if you watched the last video, and I actually wanted to do it twice last week. So that was completely different. What I did this week is I started out thinking I was going to do a 32-hour fast, but I actually did a 62-hour fast at the beginning of the week, and then I did end the week with a 32-hour fast. So this was a completely different week than normal. So it'll be interesting to do my weigh-in this week and see how that affected me. We're going to definitely do a 32-hour fast, a 36-hour fast at least once a week. Like I said, that's not really for the weight loss part, although I'm sure it will help. But that's mostly to make sure that I'm getting the benefit of autophagy. That's going to change my protocol of what I'm doing just a little bit. Of, like I said, at least doing one 36-hour fast. Although, you know, if we're handling it really well and if it is affecting my weight loss in a good way, we might actually do two 36-hour fasts every week. So that'll depend. We'll see how that goes. But kind of interested to see how I weigh myself this week and see what happens. To see how well that, you know, how that affected me. We'll definitely going to leave in the 36-hour fast, at least one of them every week, for those, like I said, autophagy benefits. So I'm going to go for now, and can't wait to weigh myself in the morning. Okay, here we go. Hey everybody, so I'm real excited. I lost 1.8 pounds this week. So that puts me at 18.9 pounds lost in 10 weeks. So yes, I'm feeling really good. Feeling manly, as you can see. That's why I got this shirt. I do what I want, when I want, where I want, except I got to ask my wife. 1 second. All right, so yeah, like I said, I'm feeling really good. I did do that, the longer fast, you know, this week, and then a regular 36-hour fast. I won't be doing that normally, but I will be doing one, maybe two 36-hour fasts every week for the autophagy that I talked about. Really excited about both of those benefits. I don't think I've mentioned this, but for the past 10 or 15 years, the doctors have been telling me that I'm pre-diabetic. So I'm hoping that sometime in the near future, I go to the doctor and they actually say that that's no longer the case. Okay, here we go. Okay, I want to mention real quick. So this is the first time I put on these shorts in a long time. I used to not be able to wear these because they were tight enough to where I actually got backaches. And now, look, I even have to tighten this down it feels good to actually be able to fit into these things. Thank you again for watching and joining me on this 64-pound weight loss journey. As you see, week 10, I lost 1.8 pounds, which was kind of crazy because I did that 62-hour fast and then a 34-hour fast. And last week, for week 11, I did do 2 36-hour fasts, and I ended up losing 2 pounds for that week. So I absolutely know that I will be doing a 36-hour fast every week, and there's a good chance that I might do a second one every week as well, but that's not set in stone. So very exciting, 1.8 pounds week 10, 2 pounds week 11. That puts me down to 213.2. Feeling really, really good. Okay, just fantastic. So like I said, thanks again for joining me, and see you in the next video. All right, so my next video, please watch, because what I'm going to be doing is talking about why counting calories on the standard American diet does not work, as opposed to why intermittent fasting does work. So please like and subscribe, hit that notifications button so that you know when these videos pop up. I'm sorry I don't post them exactly 1 week apart each time. So thank you very much. See you next time.